Good morning, everybody. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, we're so glad to have you here. My name is Tyler Hess. On the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Castle. You'll meet him in a few minutes, and I think you'll like him. If this is your first time tuning in, you got to know what you're listening to. Here at Tyler's Talking Sports, we cover college football, we cover college basketball, we cover college baseball. You name it in the college world, we're talking about it. From breaking news to big games to new coaching hires to kids entering the transfer portal, we cover it all. So, if you love what you're listening to and you love this episode, be sure to find us on all major podcasting platforms. Find us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Be sure to give us a follow and a like there. We're also on YouTube and TikTok, but on YouTube, be sure to give us a subscribe, because when you do, that allows you to get exclusive content that nobody else gets that's not subscribed to us. When you subscribe to us on YouTube, you get exclusive access to our 10-minute episodes that we drop weekly throughout the week. Plus, our 2 episodes we drop every Monday and Thursday at 6 a.m. You're not going to want to miss any of the content we have, and we appreciate you guys being here, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
This episode is brought to you by Next Level Fitness Club in Lebanon, Virginia. 1806 East Main Street, Lebanon, Virginia, 24266. They are a 24/7 gym facility, 24/7 tanning. They also offer certified personal training and certified functional fitness classes to fit all needs. If you're in the market for a gym membership, this is a great place to hit up. Hit up Ethan, Tyler, or Jordan at any of their numbers, and check out their website at www.nextlevelfitnessclub276.com.
This episode is brought to you by Little's Lawn Care. Little's Lawn Care is the all-you-need lawn care people. You need your yard mowed, you need your leaves blowed out of your yard, you need your gutters cleaned out, contact Little's Lawn Care at 276-698-5104. Again, that number is 276-698-5104. You can text them and you can call him. His name is Brandon Little. He's an incredible person, and be sure you let him know that Tyler sent you.
And we're live, Season 2, Episode 39. We got a national champ. Happy Thursday morning. If it's your first time tuning in to Tyler's Talking Sports, on the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Hess, and myself, Tyler Castle, bringing you Tyler's Talking Sports. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got an awesome episode for you all today. Hopefully you all have had a wonderful week so far. Hess, how's your week going? How's your week going?
Buddy, it ain't been too bad. It's been a lot going on at work life, but been going to the gym pretty much every day. Overslept a little bit this morning, was a little tired. Didn't make it out there, but got
excuses.
Got 4 more days ahead of me, so we'll get
anytime you do that, I'm going to send you, just let me know days that you skip the gym, and I'll send you a David Goggins motivational video.
Well, it wasn't the fact that I wouldn't
anytime you take a rest day.
I want to blame the wife.
No free shout out either.
I got up, and then I sat down on the edge of the bed, and then she grabbed me. So she's like, cuddle me. You know.
Oh, it's cold. It's -6 outside. It was -6 this morning.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know what it is this morning. Y'all know we record on Wednesdays, but
should be around 14.
Should be around 14. I was finally able to turn on my HVAC system again. So finally got that sucker running again. No more emergency heat. So hopefully my power bill isn't $5,000 next month. We'll see what it is. But yeah, been a little cold here in Southwest. Hopefully it warms up. My week's been pretty good. Thank you for asking.
You seen the snow in Florida?
I did. I saw that.
That is wild.
I didn't realize the comedian that you sent me. I didn't realize he lived in Florida. Doesn't he live in Tennessee? I guess he has a beach house down there probably too.
He moved to Florida recently.
Oh, okay.
But he does everything. He's the entertainment. I don't know what exactly the word is, but he's the main guy who does all the stuff for Bristol Motor Speedway too.
Really?
Yeah, he's in charge of.
So he landed that job.
Yeah. So yeah, Justin Nunley. Shout out to
Justin
him. I'll shout him out because if he ends up following us,
Hess sends me his reels all the time.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah, they are pretty good. But yeah, I didn't realize he lived in Florida, so that's cool. They got quite a bit of snow too, not just a little. I mean,
Pensacola
3 or 4 inches.
Pensacola got 9, and that's the most ever in the state of Florida in the history of the state of Florida.
Jeez.
And I've seen too, Savannah may have got like 10 inches last night. So, and then New Orleans got 8.
I know Charleston, they got snow.
Yeah, New Orleans got 8, and they was actually under a blizzard.
Emerald Isle got snow. I saw Billy Mullins post.
Wild.
It is crazy. All these places we've been to, I've never seen snow there.
That's the thing. Like, I seen a video of these guys in Florida. They don't have salt trucks or anything down there. So they were on the back of a pickup truck throwing salt off
that.
by hand.
Yeah.
Like
what do we do?
Yeah, what do we do?
Gosh, I've seen some people drive here in this area that can't drive in snow. I couldn't imagine people in the beach.
I seen a video there too. They were like on one of them 8-lane highways, and they were going up a hill, and they couldn't make it. All the vehicles were making it.
They're all two-wheel drive.
Yeah, they would all go right back down.
Yeah, they're all two-wheel drive. The trucks, everything. Because you go down there, it's all two-wheel drive stuff.
Yeah.
Because when are you going to need it for snow? 9 inches of snow.
Yep, 9 inches on the beach. Literally, people were going out on the beach. But one thing I did take from some of the pictures I seen, our beaches aren't that white. Like, the snow was there, and they showed, one where, the water was coming up, obviously, the tide, and it had the sand underneath it, and then the snow. So you got to see, how white our sands are on our beaches. We got a long way to go before we have white, sandy beaches.
Yeah, yeah. I know, Clearwater, it's kind of red. It's like a reddish tint.
I think they got, 3 or 4.
That's crazy.
Panama City got 5. I mean, it's crazy.
This is one of the coldest Arctic fronts. I know we're talking about weather, guys. This isn't Tyler's Talking Weather. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. But before we dive into the sports episode, I knew it was one of the biggest, coldest fronts that have came through this area in years.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Which I remember last year we went through something very similar to this about the same time.
The thing that made this one so unique is how far south it went. And
it covered from freaking Canada to Florida.
I mean, it was 20 degrees in Jacksonville this morning.
And then the storm last week that we had that brought in all snow, it was all the way. It spanned from Canada to Florida. Yeah. Except it was rain down there. Yeah. But I mean, that's how large it was.
But they still got snow in Texas. That's back-to-back weeks. They've had snow in Houston and Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Is insane.
Guys, speaking of snow, this has nothing to relate to it. We're still pushing for 1.3K followers on Facebook. So,
yes, sir.
Guys, I keep preaching it. We're going to hit it. And I have faith in y'all. Y'all have been crushing our YouTube as well. Our 10-minute shorts, don't forget those. We just put up a new 10-minute episode on Tuesday night, so y'all make sure to go check that out. It's about the ACC, if it's going to restructure for the championship game next year, what they're going to do. So make sure y'all tune into that. It's right at 10 minutes.
Yep.
We give our thoughts, and we want to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions and comments. And Hess also made a post, if there's something you all want us to do a 10-minute segment on, or if there's something that you want us to talk on, let us know. And we'll try to drop a video on that. We love the ideas. We've had a lot of people text us, messages on Facebook. So keep sending that, guys. Y'all are awesome. This is why we do it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, guys, one more thing. This is the end of Season 2. This will be our last episode of Season 2. We will go into Season 3 starting Sunday, Lord willing. And we will pretty much, this will be the last time you hear us talk about an actual college football game. We will still talk about college football news, anything we see, transfers, coaching changes, maybe conference realignment. Who knows? How off season is in college football. But yeah, Season 2, incredible season.
Coming to a wrap.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see what Season 3 brings us. And
I might have a surprise for Season 3. I'm not going to reveal that. I'm just going to reveal it on stream. So I'm going to surprise you as well.
Okay.
But it's a good one.
Okay.
Something coming. You'll just have to tune in. Y'all have to tune in. Stay tuned in for that. Next episode for Season 3 will release Monday.
Yep.
Next Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure y'all wake up early.
Yep. But hey, we got a national champ to talk about, man.
We have a national champ and a national champ in football. College football, that is. Congrats to Ohio State on one of the most impressive runs in college football history.
Yeah.
They finished the regular season 10-2.
Yeah.
All Ohio State, true Ohio State fans, when they lost to Michigan, they were livid. They wanted Ryan Day fired. Everything was just looking terrible at Ohio State. Ohio State went on a run.
Yeah.
They beat the brakes off everybody in the playoffs.
They did, and it was a run. Tennessee was top 10. Everybody they played was a top 10 opponent. They finished with 5 straight wins against top 5 or top 10 opponents. What they did.
I guess Notre Dame was the closest.
Yeah, Notre Dame was probably the closest. Yeah,
they were.
And we just haven't seen anything like that. That's one thing this playoff brought as far as the rankings and everything. We got to see a team from the first round, an 8 seed. Pretty sure there was 8 seed, right? Yeah, 8 versus 9.
8.
9. Go through this gauntlet of teams, and they just took them down, and they didn't just beat them; they beat the brakes off of some of them.
They whooped Tennessee. They whooped Oregon. Texas was a close game.
Texas played.
But they closed it out in the last 5 minutes. The game they really took it away. Yep. And then they pretty much dominated Notre Dame the entire game.
They let Notre Dame come back a little bit. Yeah.
Missed field goal opportunity on Notre Dame. Nothing to hold your head down about if you're a Notre Dame fan.
Not at all.
Me personally, I wouldn't have tried to kick the field goal at like the 15 or whatever it was. I get the idea. Marcus Freeman's smart coach, take the points when you can get them. But in that situation, I think I would have just tried to go for it and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's just me. But yeah, I mean, that game could have been 26-31 final if they made that field goal. So that's the way I look at it, 5-point spread. It's close to our spreads. Both Hess and I picked Notre Dame. I'm not going to lie. The only reason I picked Notre Dame is for Marcus Freeman and Riley Leonard. I like both those guys.
My Notre Dame pick was just because I really thought that they were going to – Riley Leonard's dynamic was going to show something to Ohio State they hadn't really seen. They've been dealing with pocket passers with Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel. Nico kind of gave him a little bit of run, but we know how Nico is. Nico's better in that pocket.
Nico tried to do it all. So
I just figured, Notre Dame, that first drive was what I expected out of Notre Dame that entire game.
First drive was 10 minutes, in case y'all didn't know. They controlled the clock. Riley Leonard ran the ball probably 11 times. And as soon as I saw the start, I was like, okay, and it's just like what I said on the pod. If Riley Leonard can rush for over 100 yards, Notre Dame wins this game. I don't know what he finished with.
I'm not sure. I didn't really check
I don't have the exact stat line.
Because I'll be honest with you. When I watched that first Ohio State drive and they went right downfield and scored, I turned it off. I was done. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Ohio State's going to dominate this game.
He really went to bed.
I did. I didn't watch anything after that first touchdown. When Jeremiah Smith scored, I was like, okay, they're letting him score. They're going to run all over him. I got up to use the bathroom right before I fell asleep, and I checked the score, and they were up like 21-7 or something like that. And I was like, okay.
He had 40 rush yards. That's why they didn't win that game.
And that was all in that first drive.
Yep. After that, they shut it down.
And he got sacked a ton. He was battling, I think, some stomach issues because he was throwing up on the sideline. That was another reason.
He had a beautiful throw, though, there with about 5 minutes left in the game.
Big thing I'll take away from that one, I didn't see this coming. He threw for 255 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see that coming out of him. But
That's probably like one of the most higher games he's thrown in a long time.
It was definitely a top 5
He's
game.
usually around like 140, 150.
But my big thing here this whole entire season, but especially this playoff run, I know a lot of people's been focusing on Jeremiah Smith was Junkins. I mean, what Junkins did in this playoff run, I mean, almost every time Junkins touched the football, it was like he was going for a touchdown. He was getting 20 yards, it felt like, every carry. And he finished with like 9 touchdowns during that stretch, which is the most ever in that stretch of games. He beat Derrick Henry. He beat Zeke Elliott. He beat Mark Ingram.
Wow.
I mean,
that's impressive running back list right there.
Talk about a transfer get right there. I mean, Travion Henderson was pretty much non-existent for most of. I mean, you didn't talk about him. He had big plays, but Junkins just took over. I mean, nothing taken away from what Jeremiah Smith did. I mean, that was legendary for a freshman. But I just felt like Junkins, he just added an extra dimension to that offense that you didn't see coming. So, crazy season. Crazy to think about that the college football season's over. And Ohio State, I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the year, they should be in the national championship, and they ended up in the national championship. But there was a point there that none of us thought they'd be there. And hats off to Ryan Day. I know I say that a lot, but, incredible season by him. Way to overcome the adversity from the fans in the Michigan game. I think that was just so much motivation for him. But question here, can Ohio State do it again next year?
I don't see why not. I mean, they spent $20 million this past season. In NIL money just to get these players. If you look at the roster, I mean, they're deep, very deep. They'll be tough again next year. I don't know what the status is on Will Howard.
He's gone.
He's gone? Okay.
He'll be starting a freshman quarterback.
But he's a 5-star, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe he is, yeah. They've had like 3 5-stars transfer out, but they kept one out of the situation.
That's
Jeremiah Smith's back.
Super, super deep.
Junkins gone. Henderson's gone. Abuka's gone.
Apparently the running back, or not the running back, but the second wide receiver, can't think of his name, he's thinking about entering the transfer portal. The number 2. That was before they won the national championship.
Oh, that would have been
around there.
Been the number 3 guy. He was a 5-star. Number 17, I can't remember his name because you had Jeremiah Smith at 1. They give Abuka.
Maybe?
Tate. I think it is
Carnell Tate?
Yeah.
I think that's right.
But
yeah, he's apparently on the line of potential transfer. So.
I think this next question kind of maybe gives some insight toward maybe what he does as far as transferring. And I'll propose that question to you. Does Ryan Day get the last laugh with the Ohio State fans and lead them to a national championship and then leave for one of these vacancies in the NFL?
I don't think so. I think Ryan Day made a point. I think now that he's won a national championship, I don't think they want to let him go. We know how it is at Ohio State. They're cutthroat. I mean, if you lose to Michigan, or let's say they lost the national championship, they probably want this guy fired still.
I mean, I look at it this way. I think it would be really funny. I don't think it happens, but
I don't think it happens. He just don't strike me as that type of person.
Jacksonville just fired their GM, and they're still looking for a head coach. It'd be really ironic if another Ohio State coach left Ohio State for Jacksonville like Urban Meyer did.
That didn't pan out.
The Raiders' job's still out there.
Oh, God. Don't. That's career suicide right there.
The Lions are needing an offensive coordinator now.
I saw that.
I mean, there's a lot of openings out there, so it's kind of curious. And here's another fun fact.
Who was the coordinator? Was it Jones? Is that who it was?
Where?
At Detroit.
Ben Johnson. He took the head coaching job with the Bears.
Okay, Johnson. I'm pretty sure. Fun fact for you about him. If I got the right guy, I think it's the same guy. He went to same school in Asheville that Luke Combs and
yes,
Chase Rice.
Chase Rice,
and then somebody else there too.
Caleb Presley.
That's it.
And there's
all of them went to the same same high school in Asheville, outside of Asheville. And all through like the same time frame.
Yep.
Like every 10-year spread.
Another fun coaching fact here. This is the first time that Chip Kelly has ever been under Ryan Day. Him and Ryan Day are best friends. Didn't know this, but they're best friends. And actually, Ryan Day started his coaching career as a quarterback coach under Chip Kelly with the Eagles. So he was under him, and then he worked his way up to the Ohio State job, and then he brought Chip Kelly in.
That's awesome. Brought his mentor in. That's awesome. Yep. Yeah, that is pretty cool. The real question is Ryan Day, does he use Just for Men?
I don't know, but I think
you need to know what he uses.
I think Shane Gillis got it right. They may not have won the national championship, but at least their head coach doesn't use a Sharpie to color in his beard.
That's hilarious. I love Shane.
So, yeah. He's on top of the world right now. He's on top of the world right now.
Yes, he is. Again, nothing to hold your head down about. I'm curious about the Marcus Freeman. I know we've seen some rumors that potentially the Browns and Bears and Pittsburgh Steelers were interested in him, potentially in case Mike Tomlin something doesn't work out there with Steelers. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Based off what I'm seeing, the Steelers are keeping Tomlin. They've pretty much closed the door on anybody trying to even talk to him. The Bears, they just signed Ben Johnson to be their head coach. So I think Marcus Freeman's there unless something just pops up randomly. But
when did that Johnson happen? Did that happen today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
He signed yesterday, and then the Detroit also lost their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. He took the head coaching job with the Jets. So now in the NFL,
Detroit's losing some big ones.
Yeah. Right now in Detroit, or the only jobs open, I think, I could be wrong, maybe missing one, is the Raiders in Jacksonville. But there's a lot of coordinator jobs open out there, so we'll see what happens. That's all good.
Not to get off on NFL, but we'll get off this topic and get into today's episode. But if I was the Detroit Lions, right, and this is just because I'm a diehard Tennessee fan. In case y'all didn't know, you can look behind me if you're watching camera. But you have Hendon Hooker sitting on the bench when you're playing the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels. The last time they faced each other, Hooker tore LSU apart and destroyed Jaden Daniels' team. Would you not give him a chance after the game that Goff was having? I mean, Goff threw, 4 interceptions? 5?
Yeah, but
it was way up there.
Yeah, I think he was sacked 9 times.
Yeah, but he got rocked on that one of the first plays.
Yes.
And they didn't call
it was the one on the interception.
Targeting or whatever on him. Or
when he got rocked.
Whatever they call it in NFL now, where it's like you can't hit the quarterback. Yeah, can't hit the quarterback.
Passer.
Yeah, roughing the passer. There we go. Thank you. They call that too.
He got rocked. He got rocked on that one where he threw the interception because he got hit as he threw the interception. He got up trying to make a tackle, and that dude ran him the hell over.
Well, that was like the second or third time he got hit that.
You got to think Detroit signed Teddy Bridgewater. They brought him in.
Crazy
story there. Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh yeah, he went to coach. Yeah, I remember. He's still coaching.
He won a state title. After they won the state title, he signed with Detroit. They actually put him in. He ran 3 plays and scored a touchdown.
That's insane.
As far as Hendon Hooker, I did read some stuff on that.
I was just throw that. I know they ain't gonna do that, but I was just throwing it out there. Why not?
They did talk about that because they brought Bridgewater in. They said they brought him in to maybe help with Hendon's development a little bit more. They haven't given up on him, but his development's kind of stalled out a little bit, so they're just hoping maybe Bridgewater can unlock a little bit more of that. But yeah, I mean, fun fact about Jaden Daniels, spoke about it. I think this is really neat. Two things about Jaden Daniels. How did Brian Kelly lose the Outback Bowl when he had Brian Thomas Jr., the starting running back for the Redskins, Jaden Daniels, and Malik Neighbors
Yeah.
All on that one team and lost in the Outback Bowl. Lost
Yeah.
5 games. Brian Kelly needs to be fired.
Yeah,
And,
this does.
and whoever did the rankings in the SEC as coaches, they put Kirby Smart 1. They put who was 2? I had to look up. I can't remember who was 2. Number 3 was Brian Kelly. Number 4 was Josh Heupel. Number 5 was Lane Kiffin. And then number 6 was Kevin DeBoer. Whoever put Brian Kelly in the top 5 as an SEC coach, they need to be smacked.
That's crazy. He knows how to recruit. I'll give him that, but he can't put it on the field.
2 is Shane Beamer.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but
they got South Carolina. Not to get too far ahead of his guys for next season, but they already got South Carolina preseason potentially ranked 7th.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, they're bringing back pretty much
way too early. I don't think they'll be that hot, honestly, coming in, but they will be ranked. Yeah. I'll be very surprised if they're not ranked.
And the other thing I had about Jaden Daniels, a reason he fell where he fell in the draft is because he wanted to make sure that whoever drafted him allowed him to train with a VR headset.
Mm.
And what he does is he puts in the team's playbook
and then practices with that
and puts the other team's defense in that whatever it is he's training with, and then ups the speed to 1.75. So it's faster than what it would be like in real life, and then he does that for hours every day. So when he gets into the game, it's actually slower than what he's used to.
So it feels easy.
Yeah.
Well, it's paying off, man.
It is paying off.
What's that stat you told me? He's the only rookie quarterback, right?
He's the
only quarterback ever.
Yeah, to throw 4 touchdowns in 3 games and not have a team punt. And
that's all in this year, in his rookie year.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about like Tom Brady. I know he was up there in that.
One game away from a Super Bowl.
Elway was in that situation.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
He is one game away from going to Super Bowl. Washington is that's unbelievable.
That's insane.
From where they were at,
when was the last time Washington was in the Super Bowl?
1992. Joe Gibbs was the head coach.
Joe Gibbs. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
The last time they won a playoff game was when Joe Gibbs came back and coached in 2013. And they won a playoff game. That was the last time.
This proves that drafting the right guy matters.
Yes. And all the people that said Dan Quinn wasn't a good head coach, I hope they're laughing.
Yeah, it's all about quarterback, and you build around that.
He built it. I mean, Terry McLaurin's going off. Brian Thomas Jr.
That team's good.
And another thing,
they beat, honestly, in my opinion, the best team that I've seen all year.
Another thing too. I know we're talking about the NFL. Another fun thing here is Washington has the worst rated defense in NFL history to make it to a conference championship. They're ranked 18th in the NFL.
Wow.
But they have one of the best offenses. Like they're just playing great football at the right time.
Yeah, they're clicking, firing on all cylinders, as the saying.
And now they get a division rival in the Eagles. I mean,
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Not to talk about NFL, guys. We're not trying to get off topic too much here. Hess and I do keep up with the playoffs in NFL, so that you might hear that throughout. We'll probably talk about the Super Bowl a little bit.
We'll make a pick on that.
Yeah, we'll make a pick on it for you. But let's move on to basketball. Had some crazy good games Tuesday night. So recap of these college basketball games. We'll run through these pretty quick for you all. So the first one on the docket that we have for today was Texas playing Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Texas wins 61-53. Missouri is ranked now too. Didn't see that one coming. This has kind of been the story of the SEC. I think this game was at Texas, so
it was at Texas.
Yeah, that helps a little bit.
Just to give you a context, any team that's on the right that you're saying
it's home.
It's the home team.
Okay, so it's like normal. Okay,
yeah,
awesome. That's what I figured. But yeah, so Texas right now is 13-6.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri drops to 15-4. We did have Tamar Bates for Missouri go 4 for 8 from shooting and drop 10 points.
That was their leading scorer.
And they still only lost. I mean, they only lost by 8.
I mean, we talked about it. Missouri's defense is really good.
It is.
And I think this is what's going to get really weird. There's only like one game on here where the defense nearly didn't play. Like you see a lot of lower scoring games than some of these that we're going to talk about, except for like one. One had no defense in it, which has kind of been their norm all year.
Alabama.
Yeah. But this game, I mean, 61-53. Yeah. I mean, your leading scorer had 10 points, and then Texas's leading scorer, Arthur Kaluma, 14 points, 4 for 10 from the field. I mean,
5 for 6 from free throw. Yep. Yeah. I'm surprised right here we didn't have Trey Johnson leading this game. I don't know how he played. I'd have to pull up a full stat sheet, but y'all heard me talk about Trey Johnson before. Guy's a sharp shooter. I think he'll be good in the NBA. You better enjoy him now because he won't be here much longer. Is Texas one of those teams that could make the March Madness? if
Yeah,
if they can win some of these big games.
Texas is in it right now. I think right now they're sitting around like one of the last four in or whatever. But I mean, Texas. I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself from the other day, but the consistency. We want to see consistency out of these teams, and they're one of them teams that's been very inconsistent, been up and down all year. Like one game, they're competing with Alabama and about to beat them, and then they play Missouri and they only score 61, but they pull off the win. But then you see them drop an egg against like Mississippi State. Like it's like very inconsistent out of them.
That's the SEC this year. I don't know an SEC.
It has been very. I mean, look. I mean, Florida. They lost to Florida 84-60. They lost to you guys 74-70. They lost to Auburn 87-82. But then they got blew out the week before that by Texas A&M 80-60. Like it's like some games they're in it, and some games they're like non-existent.
Depends on how they're shooting.
Let's see a full box here on this game. You just want to know about Trey.
Yeah, I just want to know Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson, he played terrible game. 35 minutes, 3 for 15 from the field. He had 12 points.
12. Ouch. 3 for 15.
1 for 8 from the 3-point line, 5 for 6 from free throws.
Looks like a Russell Westbrook stat. Ooh, golly. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Had an off night for him, but they still found a way to win. That's all that matters. Somebody else stepped up. That's what you have to have. We've talked about this. You have to have multiple scorers in today's game. Texas, one of those teams I keep an eye on. You never know.
I mean, if they get it
right. They got size. They got a good coach. They got the money. Obviously, they got good recruits. We'll see what they can do. I don't think they're a powerhouse by any means, but they are one of those teams that if they got hot at the right time, I wouldn't want to play them.
No, not at all.
Because they got the athletes. I'm not even joking about that, guys. You need to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Pay attention to them. Another team to pay attention to, Marquette. Played at Seton Hall the other night. They won 76-59. A bounce back win for them. They're now 16-3 on the season. Seton Hall, this is an odd record for them. 6-13 this year. Yeah, Seton Hall is usually a tough little team. For Marquette, the leading scorer was Cam Jones. 19 points. This is the type of shooting line I like to see. 7 for 11. And then Isaiah Coleman. Seton Hall, it must be a one-man team pretty much. He scored half their points. He dropped 27, 9 for 14 shooting, 8 for 8 on those free throws. You got to make those free throws, guys.
Got to make free throws.
What do you think about Marquette? I mean, this wasn't really
it wasn't, but it's
expected win game, but not. It's kind of a must-win in a way. You want to get back on the winning column.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to see. They're playing a down Seton Hall team at Seton Hall. I mean, going on the road in college basketball, it don't matter where you go. It's always a tough environment.
Absolutely.
And we know Seton Hall, they're traditionally,
they're usually
they're
pretty solid.
They were packed out, ready to go in that game. I mean, this is what you want to see out of Marquette. This is the Marquette that I've kind of been talking about and kind of hyping up, saying, watch out for them. This is what I want to see. They cracked down on defense, held them under 60, and scored 76 points. And then Cam Johnson, 19 points, fairly efficient from the field. That's the Marquette that when I watched them, I'm like, that team right there could make some noise in the tournament. Now, again, they've been some times, it seems like every time I speak good about them, they get upset. They get upset the following game. So I've been
they got a tough game coming up soon, don't they?
I can check
their schedule real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
While Hess is doing that, I'll go ahead and start on our next game on the docket that happened Tuesday night. It was Vanderbilt traveling to Alabama. Alabama dominates. Scored another 100 points. They're scoring about 100 a game right now. That's a good offense.
To Marquette, they got Villanova at home this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got at Butler. And then they got on the 1st of February, they play UConn at home.
We'll see how good they are. Yeah. Alabama dropped 103 to Vanderbilt's 87.
Yep.
So Vanderbilt, 15-4 still on the season. I wouldn't count them out just yet. They're still a solid team. It's tough going on the road in the SEC. It's shown. Alabama improves to a nice 16-3. Again, guys, this is, I don't know how many games it's been that they've dropped 100 points. I know it's at least 4, but they're close to 100 almost every game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games they've dropped 100.
And they've been close, right? Pretty much every time.
The least amount they scored 64 in a loss to Ole Miss, 81 in a loss to Oregon, 78 in a loss to Purdue. Yeah, the least amount they scored.
So it sounds like this is one of those teams, if you can slow down their scoring, you have pretty good probability to win.
And the other fun, interesting thing, I was just looking at their schedule. They played McGee State. They played them very close. They only beat – where did I lose? I lost it. Where's that? They beat McGee 72-64. And McGee's made a deep run last year in the tournament. And right now, just not to get off, but McGee's is 14-5 and number one in the Southland Conference. And they are on a heater. They've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row.
Nice.
So that could be a sleeper team. In
Cinderella?
Yeah, Cinderella type team right there.
Cinderella type team. Speaking of Cinderella, Jason Edwards. I talked about him a little bit because he torched Tennessee. Well, he torched Alabama again. He had 21 points, 8 for 20 from the field, so almost 50%. Then you had Muhammad Diabate for Alabama. He dropped 22, 8 for 9 shooting. I'm assuming he's a big man?
Yeah, he's forward.
Forward? Okay. I was going to say center or forward because anytime you're almost 100% from the field, you're probably pretty close to the basket.
Yeah, I was going to – hold on here. Let me check. He's off the bench too, by the way.
Really? Dropped 22 off the bench. That's a solid game, man.
Oh, my mouse has quit working here.
What about my boy
that's what I was looking up. Sears.
Mm-hmm.
He finished with 5 for 12 from the field, 21 points.
Okay.
Alabama had another player off the bench, Aiden Holloway. He had 22 points.
Sheesh.
But Muhammad is a sophomore forward, forward from Queens, New York. He's 6'7", 250 pounds. He's averaging 5.6 points a game, so this was a career game.
Breakout game for him.
Yeah.
Must have just been feeding him or something because 8 for 9, he must have had some layups and stuff.
Yeah, to me, this says Alabama's doing film work because if you go back to the Tennessee game, where Tennessee I felt like was really dominant was on the inside. They were really able to push the inside presence, and I think Alabama took a little page out of that notebook and was like, hey, we'll speed it. And Muhammad came out in this game and was like, hey, I'm coming off the bench, and I'm going to show you what's up.
Yeah, if you can – I mean, it just depends, right? It's SEC play, but Alabama pretty much led this entire game. I don't think that's ever trailed. They were dominating pretty high at half, I'm pretty sure.
It was 48-31 at half.
Mm-hmm.
The second half, there was no defense. Actually, Vandy outscored them 56-55 in the second half.
There's no defense on Alabama. It's all about scoring.
It is.
They run into a tempo team like Georgia or Tennessee whenever they do play. Yeah. I think they're going to have some problems.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And speaking of problems, almost had another one.
Yeah.
Butler traveled to UConn. 8-11 Butler, that is. Yeah. Went to overtime with UConn. UConn escaped 80-78 and are now 14-5. This UConn team has just let me down week in and week out. I'm done saying that I think they're just, having a rough little start. They did. They lost 3 there in a row at the beginning of the season. But, every game it feels like they're close or lose. They lost to Creighton right before this, 67-62, something like that, 63. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in UConn. UConn was that team I thought for sure could do it back-to-back.
Let's see if I can get this to pull up. I want you to kind of hear what Hurley had to say after this game. See if I can get this to pull up here. 1 second. Because it's very interesting that he said this. I feel like it's worth talking about a little bit here. So let me share this. Get rid of this ad whenever it gets done. Hate ads. Then get rid of them without paying for them.
Gotta love it.
Let's see here. I'm muting it.
I can't hear him, man.
They're great. Again, Big East refs, they're great officials, but we got to treat like off-ball movement like the way that we're treating people driving the ball or shooting shots at the rim. Like you have to, because that's how we play. It's a problem, and it's been going on for a lot of games, and I haven't said anything. And it can't get worse in the next one because I'm saying we've got awesome referees in the Big East. When I get to see them walk out there, I'm very comfortable, but like for all the success we have had the last couple of years, I don't think there's a program that's like won as much as we've won that at times gets as bad a whistle.
So that was very, very interesting there.
Soft-spoken. I mean, very soft-spoken about how he's talking about it.
Yeah.
But he's complaining about the refs.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I get what he's talking about. They're saying, they're focusing more on the people with the ball and not paying attention to the stuff off the ball.
Right.
And he's talking about their offense runs, a guy with the ball is not
I
your
guess
main
he's talking
guy.
about picks and stuff like that, maybe off-ball
Picks, legal
screens, everything like
stuff
that.
like that. But to say that they're one of the most successful teams in the country and they don't get the calls, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a stretch. I'm not saying that he's wrong, but I mean,
I'd have to watch some more games of them, I guess,
Yeah.
and see if they're not getting calls.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you it's probably not like Purdue getting calls, so I'll say that. I'm going with the shade again against Purdue, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think it's the time to say that. I mean, just went to overtime with Butler. That sounds kind of more like shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. And also, too, if you're having to use the refs as, let's just be honest, that's an excuse. Maybe you need to work on something else. Maybe you need to make that game to where it don't matter if a ref makes a bad call.
Yeah,
You're up by
don't
20.
play close.
You're up by 15.
If you're that good, or
if you're that
get me
good,
wrong,
you don't need a
I think-
ref's excuse.
I think UConn's got that potential. We said at the beginning of the year when we were
Yes,
talking about
they
it.
do.
And they got
Absolutely.
one of the best coaches in college basketball. Like, they're there. Like, but
Yeah, and I'm not dogging on them, but I'm just saying, like,
I agree with you. Like, don't stop playing close games against crap teams.
If you're a great team, then you shouldn't have to worry about a bad call. You can call out the bad call after the game, after you beat the team by 20.
Yeah. Be
But
like,
you
hey.
won in overtime by 2.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that
Butler
it came
all
down
the way
to
back.
it came down to not bad, probably turnovers or anything like that, and it come down to that. Like, so you're just going to say it came down to a little bit with the refs? Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, they let Butler come all the way back with a minute and a half left in the game. Butler tied it 68-68. And then
Got to close out.
Butler actually took the lead in overtime, but they couldn't hold out.
That's insane. Butler's not good this year.
No, they're way down.
And this was a home game for UConn.
Yeah, it was.
Jamil Telfort led Butler 25, 11 for 23 shooting. Very solid there. Solo Ball. This guy's not related to LaMelo Ball or Lonzo Ball as far as I know. He's just solo. 23 points, 8 for 14 shooting. Pretty solid night there from him as well. UConn, yeah, they got scorers. They got size. They got the depth. They got the coaching. They got the facility. They got the money. Should not be here in this situation, in my opinion. They're still ranked. They're just a 5-loss team, but those 5 losses are pretty ugly.
Yeah.
And their wins aren't that impressive. So
Not at all.
I'm Xing UConn out.
Definitely a team that's probably setting up for an upset in the tournament.
Yeah, I think they'll be. Honestly, I think they'll be out early if they make the tourney. They got to start winning some games, man.
They'll make it. I mean, they're going to make it. I mean, 5 losses at this point, they should make it. But I'll talk about it. I'll start this next one off just because I know, one, I've been, again, guys, I must be a jinx because it seems like anytime I talk about a team, I talk about them, they get beat. The next episode we talk about, they got beat. So it's kind of like
one of these teams didn't that you're getting ready to talk about too here in a second.
But they just came off a loss though. But Ohio State traveled to Purdue and ended up pulling off the upset, 73-70. Ohio State is way down this year. It's not that Ohio State basketball, but maybe they're feeding off that national championship energy in this game. Micah Parrish led Ohio State for 22 points. He was 8 for 10 from the field, had no free throws, so that was all scoring. And then for Purdue, Trey Kaufman-Reen, 26 points for him, 11 for 16 from the field, 4 for 7 from the free throw line. Big thing I'm taking away in this game is at half, Purdue was up 41-28. You're like, okay, Purdue going to win another Big Ten game here. They're going to improve to 8-1 in conference play. And then they allowed Ohio State to score 45 on them in the second half, and they only scored 29. Literally a complete role reversal of the first half. What's your take on this?
It sounds like lack of defense. I didn't watch this game, but it just sounds like a defensive breakdown.
Yeah.
Anytime you get confident that, things are going right at halftime, before halftime, coach is going to make halftime adjustments. So whether it be like switching up offensive play calling or switching to a zone or switching to man or switching to a full court press, half court press, anything like that. Anytime there's changes, that always going to cause disruption. And be down 28-41 isn't terrible. I mean, that's 13 points. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's not a lot in college basketball, honestly, any NBA, anything. So not terrible, but yeah, you have a 13-point lead. You need to somehow control that lead. We do see teams make a run. You'd think Purdue, since they are ranked 11th and they're 15-5, they would have found out a way to make a run during that and hold off the push from Ohio State. So if Ohio State dropped 45, you'd expect Purdue to drop 40 or 45 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that one. I mean, it's just I don't know. If you want your team to lose, let me hype them up a little bit. Let me hype them up for you a little bit. I was shocked by that when I seen the score of that one came out. Because, I seen the score at half, and I was like, okay, Purdue's going to do what I figured they would do. And then I get up this morning, and they're upset. And I'm like, what the crap's happening here?
Love to see it.
So, I really feel like Ohio State is – let me tell you what they're really missing. They're missing Felix Akabara. They're missing him big time this year. Him transferring to Tennessee was a huge loss to them in basketball. And he's doing big things at Tennessee, especially on the defensive end. Ohio State's
number one shot blocker.
Yeah, and he played 3 years at Ohio State, and then he transfers out to go to Tennessee. So
can't blame him.
But hey, Rick Barnes went and got a guy they needed. They knew they needed a big man with Chris Scott last year. So, but Ohio State had him. I think you're looking at a little bit better Ohio State team.
Ohio State's 11-8 now, guys. So keep an eye on them. They're not completely out. They're out. They're out right now, probably. Yeah. But one of those teams that could get hot.
Very well could. Very well could.
Speaking of hot, used to be hot. University of Central Florida traveled to Iowa State and got whooped. Iowa State with a bounce-back win, 108 points. That has to be a season high. Now 16-2. UCF now 12-6. They only put up 83 against Iowa State. Jordan Ivy Curry, not Steph Curry's brother or Seth. Neither one of them. I had to think there for a second. So what? That's bad because Seth went to Duke and everybody was all about Seth Curry, and Steph was the guy that went to Davidson. Yeah. So guys, it don't matter what college you go to; it matters to the work ethic after that. And
people didn't want Steph because they said he was undersized.
Well, he made the NBA work for him.
He wanted to go to Virginia Tech, and they didn't offer him a scholarship.
That's right. That's very true.
That's where his dad went. That's where Dale went.
VT again, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, Blacksburg fans. I know we got a lot of y'all, but there's a lot of those stories around Blacksburg, unfortunately. Yeah. But anyway, he dropped 24 points, 8 for 14 shooting, very solid there. But even better, and the reason they won scored 108 points, Joshua Jefferson dropped 30 points on 9 for 14 shooting. 30 points in college is muy bueno.
It's nice.
That's nice. Yeah, 30 points. Josh Jefferson. So keep that name in mind. I've seen his name pop up a lot.
The thing that's got me with them is, like, in this game, Curtis Jones, who's been their main scorer, he's averaging almost 20 points a game this season. He scored 19 in this, but he was actually the third leading scorer in this game. Keyshawn Gilbert had 21 for Iowa State.
Multiple scores.
They're showing what we kind of talking about with Duke. If your main guy isn't doing the scoring, they got other people that can do it. And Iowa State, again, they're doing back to like the Marquette thing. This is the Iowa State that I've seen that can make a run when it comes tourney time. I don't know. They'll probably lose this weekend.
It's early. It's so streaky, and that's what I love about college basketball. You really have – when you're filling out the brackets in March, you have no idea.
Yeah.
That's why it's called madness. Yeah, don't bet. You lose your money. Next game up.
Yeah.
Wisconsin travels to UCLA. UCLA, the Bruins. They escape 85-83 with a ranked win. I didn't realize Wisconsin's ranked now. Mm-hmm. UCLA improves to 13-6. Wisconsin drops to 15-4.
These two teams have confused me all year. UCLA was ranked at the beginning of the year. I felt like they was going to have a very good season. The coach he was the one who came out and said, if you don't care, you don't want to play, then I don't need you. He was the one who was like, we played like we didn't care. We played with no effort, very vocal. And then he came out this week, was talking about the whole travel thing, which, I mean, you kind of touched base on that when they talked about conference realignment. He said this is ridiculous that we've got Wisconsin traveling all the way to UCLA, and then we got to turn right back around this weekend, and we got to go all the way to the Midwest to play whoever it is they play.
Yeah.
So he's saying the travel aspect is really affecting some of these college basketball players because they're not used to it. Wisconsin, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, me or you brought them up. We were talking about they're getting hot, and that's a team that we usually see March Madness time. We see them make a little bit of a run usually. I mean, they've been a Final Four team a couple times back when they had Frank Kaminsky. They went back to the national championship that season. But
Kaminsky was good.
Both these teams, I mean, neither one of them, both of them's in the tournament right now as far as what I'm seeing, as far as Joe Lenardi's picks and everything. And they're two teams that, depending on when they strike that match, very well could make a run in the tournament and be a team that nobody's really looking at. So keep your eye on both of these teams. Be interesting, especially that Big Ten Conference Championship is really going to shed some light on the Big Ten, Conference Tournament. That'll shed a lot of light on the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm curious how the SEC goes too.
Yeah.
I think you're right, and not to jump to straight to SEC, but I think you're right. I think like your top 5 SEC schools are really top 5. I think it's another level.
It is. It's another level.
I've seen it displayed. Yeah.
But the bottom half, I mean, the records are good. The whole SEC's record looks good, but I really think that bottom
teams.
Below 5, 6 is iffy. I think that's where Georgia's sitting right now. They're kind of like these two teams. They strike a match at the right time, they can make a run. But that top 5 in the SEC, I think, is very solid. They're top 5 teams.
I agree.
The Big Ten, I think, is kind of the same way. They're kind of top heavy, and the bottom's kind of inflated. I think that's what we're seeing in the SEC. You're seeing a lot of inflation.
Yeah.
Speaking of, no pun intended there. But I think a lot of this will start coming out. We're starting to see, like you said, with this conference play, we're really starting to see who's for real, who's 14-3 record is really 14-3, or who's 14-3 record is actually 3-14.
We say that, guys, and every team that we just said will lose.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
John Tonji led Wisconsin with 24 points, 8 for 9 shooting, very solid there. Adre Mara for UCLA, 22 points, 100% from the field, 7 for 7.
Yep.
Wow.
Can't make his free throws though. Makes his free throws.
8-11, still solid. It's like 83%. Solid.
Yeah, solid.
Can't complain, man. That's pretty good stat lines there. Yeah, keep an eye on these two teams. I'm curious. UCLA used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah,
I'd
go back to the Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love days.
Yes.
And the way before me and you were ever alive when they won like 8 straight. So, yeah, keep an eye on these two teams. The next ones we got, I think this is a team you've kind of been talking about, so maybe this jinx fell on you this time.
It did.
West Virginia played Arizona State. Big 12 game.
They just beat ranked opponents. That's it.
Yeah, that's all they do. They play up to the people they're playing.
Yeah, not to cut you off, but you go ahead.
But yeah, Arizona State, West Virginia. Arizona State ended up pulling off the upset 65-57 in Morgantown. Bashir Jihad for Arizona State scored 17 points on 5 for 7 from the field, 6 for 7 from free throws. That free throws, they paid big there. And then for West Virginia, Javon Small had 14 points, was terrible from the field. He was a great 2 for 11.
Cold night for West Virginia.
But he said, you know what, Coach? I've been practicing my free throws. I'm going to make them. He was 10 for 11 from the free throw line. That was key to keep them in this game.
That's pretty bad. When you lead scorers, got to lead off free throws. It's going to be a rough night.
Yeah.
It's cold in West Virginia. It was cold in the stadium, too. They couldn't make their baskets. 57-65. Arizona State improves to 11-7. West Virginia drops to 13-5. Don't count West Virginia out just yet. Again, I think they're a sound team, but they do play up to their opponent's level. So that's something to keep in mind. And I still don't think West Virginia is there just yet. But I do think they'll make the tourney.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'll let you talk about this next game since it is your boys.
Oh, yeah.
The Tennessee Vols played Mississippi State.
Yes, they played them, baby. This game was at Thompson-Boling or the Food City Arena, sorry. And Tennessee won. They came back with a bounce-back win after losing to Vandy, 75-76. They whooped Mississippi State. I know the score is a little bit closer here, but they were up pretty much 19-17 the entire game. They won 68-56 over ranked Mississippi State. Mississippi State drops to 15-4. Tennessee improves to a stellar 17-2. Josh Hubbard did lead Mississippi State 5 for 16 shooting. Pretty bad there, 14 points. And Chaz Lanier, baby, he's looking like he's coming back. Had 23 points, 8 of 17 for shooting, and 2 for 2 from free throw. One thing that I love to see in this game is confidence in a shooter. I saw that with Chaz. Zakai Ziegler had another stellar game. But Tennessee won this game on their stellar defense. They're the number 1 defense for three-point efficiency from the opponent, so they can hold the opponent pretty much every time they come down the court, they run the shot clock all the way down to 0. Let's just put it that way. Suffocating defense. As you can see, it's a low-scoring game. Just all-around good basketball from Tennessee. Good to see Chaz Lanier take over the game. He played like he did in the beginning of the season. I know he had a little bit of a rough patch there. I think maybe he's getting adjusted to a little bit SEC play now that he's seen it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And not bagging on Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a great team. They've had some great wins this season already. And that's what I'm getting back to with the SEC. I don't really know where the SEC's at. I can tell that there is a step, but I just don't know who those steps are or who those teams are, rather.
What I'd like to say about this game you look at the first half. That first half Vols team
They
was
dominated.
was the team that could win the national championship. They did exactly
Absolutely.
that first half what they
That
did in
defense
Georgia in the
was
second
insane.
half. It was
Yes.
34-16 at half. Then you get to the second half. Mississippi State outscored them 40-34 in that second half.
Well, Mississippi State made a run there early, but Mississippi State got it within 4, and then
Yeah.
Tennessee went like on a 12-0 run.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they still outscored them 40-34 so the second half. I'm kind of breaking it down here.
Yeah.
Big thing I take away from this is it reiterates what you're talking about with Tennessee defense. Mississippi State shot 33.9% from the field.
Yeah.
Tennessee shot 41.8%.
When they can do that, yeah, they're hard to beat.
The other big thing here, my mouse has stopped working. I think the battery died maybe. Other big thing here, I'm big on this. Rick Barnes must be having his boys shoot their free throws. They only missed one. They were 12 for 13 from the field or from the free throw line in this game. So that was huge for Tennessee. That's what you want to see. You see that right there? That when we get to these deep games in the season, you get into March Madness, you need to make your free throws, and that's what we want to see out of a team that makes a deep run in March Madness. And Tennessee's proven they can do that. Another thing I want to say about Tennessee before we move on, Akabara was 1 point away from a double-double. He finished with 9 points, 12 rebounds.
He's getting more playing time.
So that was a big stab right there. Not much from the bench for Tennessee. The bench only played 4 players off their bench, but Mississippi State only played 3 off their bench. But don't turn your head on Mississippi State. They're a very good defensive team. They are 3-3 in the conference, and
they've made the tourney the past 2 years, so they'll make it again this year. So 3 years in a row.
They're a very good team. Just it's tough to win Tennessee, and when Tennessee locks in and plays what they can play, they're almost one of the most unbeatable teams in the country.
They're a top 5 team.
Yeah,
when they play like that.
Yeah, but before we move on, we do have some games tonight, or this is Wednesday night, so I kind of want to throw them out there before they go final. You got Utah traveling to Houston. Right now, that game is Houston 61, Utah 24. So that game is an absolute blowout. Another game here, we got an upset alert. I'm going to announce that. We'll see how this game ends. South Carolina is up 36-29 on Florida at halftime. TCU has got Kansas on upset alert. They're up 33-31 at half. And then St. John's is on upset alert. They're down 38-26 to Xavier at half. And then we got a big game at 9 o'clock. Got 2 big games at 9 o'clock in the SEC. You got Georgia versus Arkansas at Arkansas. And you got Texas A&M versus Ole Miss at Ole Miss. I want to get your prediction on that game.
On both or just
the Texas A&M Ole Miss?
Give me Ole Miss with a bounce-back win.
I'm going to take Texas A&M with a bounce-back win.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Go Chris Beard, baby.
Guys, we got some big games Saturday. I'll go over 3 games. I'll let Castle go over 3 games. First and foremost, my Dogs traveling to Florida. It's going to be a big game for them to kind of see where they stand, especially depending on what happens tonight against Arkansas. Florida's tough. We know what that offense could do, but you're talking about tempo. Georgia's really good at slowing the game down, so I think that's going to be key in that game. So tune into that game. That game's at 3:30 on the SEC Network. Another game I want to kind of watch. I want to watch that Kentucky-Vandy game. That game's at Vanderbilt. That game's at 2:30 on ESPN. And the other game I'm going to be focusing on, I won't take that one from you because I know you're going to mention it. That Duke-Wake Forest game.
That's my other one.
I'm going to put Duke on upset alert in that one. I don't know. I got a feel. I'm not saying Duke's going to lose.
Wake Forest, by the way, guys, is 15-4, and they're not no slouch. And this game's at Wake Forest, right?
At Wake Forest
at the Deacons, yeah.
So, be interesting. I'm going to put Duke on upset alert, tentatively upset alert. Not a bright red upset alert, but tentatively. So, we'll see what happens out of that.
Yeah. My 3 games that I'm most looking forward to watching is actually Mississippi State at South Carolina. You just mentioned South Carolina. They're up on Florida. South Carolina's one of those teams that can upset you. So I would circle that one. I think Mississippi State needs to be on upset alert because this game's at South Carolina. This game's at 1 o'clock this coming Saturday. So, again, if you're a betting man or woman, pick South Carolina.
Oof.
Next game up that I had, of course, the biggest game on Saturday, 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. You got number 6, Tennessee, traveling to number 1, Auburn. Tennessee 17-2, Auburn 17-1. This should be a game.
Should be a good one.
We're
going to figure out who's real. We're going to figure out who's
real.
This
is a toss-up, but give me the Vols. Never go against them. Go Vols. Going to be tough. Tough place to play. As long as it's close, I won't be mad.
I'm going to go ahead and say whoever wins this game wins by at least 15.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing.
Whoever wins this game.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing I see happening. And then lastly, probably a good game. Could end up being a good game. Kentucky travels to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh, you mentioned that one? I thought you mentioned Georgia, Florida. Okay, you did Kentucky, Vanderbilt. Then you did Duke, Wake Forest. Daggone it. I wanted Duke, Wake Forest.
Oh, I know. I see one on there. Help you out a little bit. Quack,
yeah, Oregon. Okay. Oregon. Number 15, Oregon travels to Minnesota. So they go to the Gophers.
We watched Minnesota play Michigan that night.
Minnesota 10-9. Yes. That was a great game. Oregon 16-3. That game's at 4:00 on ESPN. Another one that I was thinking about, and I'm just going to throw this out there just in case that people want to see it. We just mentioned Arizona State upset West Virginia. Iowa State travels to Arizona State this Saturday at 2 p.m. on ESPN+.
I was going to say that one, but I didn't want to talk about him anymore, so I want to keep winning.
That could be.
Yeah, very well could be.
And we'll see if Arizona State was just a fluke with West Virginia. But yeah, that's my games.
Yeah, I like it, man. Before we finish the episode, guys, we got some final thoughts here. We had the TGL take place last night on Tuesday night. I've been a big fan of this. I've been watching this. I've been I watched more of this than I've watched of the national title, and probably watched more of this other than the lives we did for the playoffs and the Georgia football games. Justin Thomas makes some big putts as the Atlanta Drive.
That's a good sign before golf season. By the way, guys, golf season starts this Friday.
Yeah, I got the Farm Bureau Invitational.
Starts, baby.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, Atlanta Drive end up beating the New York Golf Club, who has
New York cannot score. They scored a point.
They ain't scored a point. They lost 4-0 in this one. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the guys that are do good in this are going to do bad in the PGA. So maybe
I hope not. I love Justin Thomas.
I mean, I do too. But even though he is a Alabama grad, I won't hold that against him. But yeah, this has been great, guys. If you haven't watched it, tune in. If you got nothing to really do,
golf. It's good.
It's really good. Even if you're not a big golf fan, it's just really entertaining to watch. And one more thing, since we are getting ready to start talking about baseball, I wanted to throw this out there. The softball released their top 25. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but a lot of people expected Oklahoma to be number 1. They put them at number 3, but we got a lot of SEC teams
again in
this softball. We got Texas at number 1,
2, 3,
Florida
4,
at number 2,
6,
Oklahoma at number 3, Tennessee at 5, A&M at 7, LSU at 9, Alabama at 11, Georgia at 14, Arkansas at 13, Missouri at 15. Mississippi State at 25. I mean,
10 out of 25 are SEC.
Yeah, they are loaded. SEC softball's going to be great this year. I do too. It's fun to watch them girls play with everything they have, and that's the cool thing about softball. A lot of people don't think about it. This is it. There's no pro softball.
Yeah, unless you make the U.S. team, but that's only so long.
So these girls are playing with everything they got. Softball's great. We will kind of keep up with that a little bit. Probably hit the big games in that one. It's going to be great. Great season.
Let's go catch a softball game. They're pretty much free almost every campus.
Yeah, why not? Let's go to it. I think that'd be really fun to do. But yeah, baseball, softball is going to be great this year. I'm really excited to start covering it and start talking about it. A lot of exciting things. Looking forward to it. I do have one thing here I wanted to share with the people of college football. East Carolina punter Luke Larson has officially entered the transfer portal today. Why does that matter? This dude's 32 years old. He's the oldest player in college football. He's entered the transfer portal. I think he's going for his 9th year of eligibility.
So you're telling me I can go back to school. I have a chance.
There's a chance, man.
All right. I'm going to go apply right now.
Hey, you could probably go kick.
I could at least kick.
Yeah.
I could probably, my back wouldn't hold up anymore in tackling. I was going to say, I could probably play outside linebacker a little bit.
No.
Not
Kick.
anymore. I'm done.
Kick
Just
or
kick.
hold the snap.
Kick, man. Save your body.
Yeah. But, guys, that wraps up Season 2. Incredible season. We appreciate everything. The growth we had in Season 2 was astronomical. You guys are the best. Season 3 is going to be the best season we've ever had. We got a lot of big things coming up. A lot of traveling, a lot of games, a lot of stuff to cover. We're excited about it. Well, and thank you guys for everything. Castle, got anything else?
Nothing to add, man. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful, safe weekend. At least it's going to be a little bit warmer.
Yes, absolutely. Y'all have a great
weekend. Stay warm,
weekend.
have fun, be good.
Yeah, we'll be back with you Monday, guys. Y'all take it easy. Have a good Thursday. See y'all.